Okay, we have started. Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Everyone Sucks. I'm your host, Kartik, and today we have the honor of having Leo Lima. To just give a context of how I know Lima, how I know Leo is that he used to work at the same company I'm currently working. So I actually got introduced to Leo through his code, which I feel like is a really good introduction, to be honest. That's the best impression a good programmer can leave at any point. So really excited to have Leo. And Leo, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. Good morning. Thank you for having me in your podcast. It's an honor for me. Actually, I think it's the first official Spotify and famous podcast that I'm part of. So it's a great experience for me. And I'm glad that you get to know me through the code, which is what I always aim when I write the code is to leave a good impression. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Really, really excited to have you, Leo. So I stalked you through your LinkedIn, and the way your career has developed is really interesting because it's not a normal straightaway path where you take computer science in school and you're just get into the development job. So why don't you just like walk us through how you actually ended up working where you are currently working?
Sure, for sure. So yeah, my career, my story on software development is odd. Actually, I was here in the last episode, and the last guy was also from a journalist background,
Yeah.
which I found interesting, right? So, but my background was a little bit different because I'm from Brazil, so
Hmm.
that's my background. And the first I think the first time I got introduced to programming software, I think any kind of programming was on the old IRC script chats. I don't know if you have like experience with it. It's just a chat with just text, and you have a program in your computer to chat. And in this program, you can like do some real simple programming blocks that you can like, for example, if someone send you like a specific text, you send a specific text back. So I
Okay.
was like trying to build like simple versions of bots to play RPG, to play role playing games, but just with text. So that's my first interaction with programming. And I was like, I don't know, 13, 12 years old. I was like, this is cool, but okay, it's just like a kid thing. It was good for a time, but then I moved cities. And when I was 16 years old, I had to choose something to do. And you're so young, you don't know how to choose. And I loved computers, so and I love like images, pictures. So I thought, okay, I'll try graphical design.
Hmm.
And I the first university course that I joined was for graphical design. I did like 3 semesters, and I was like, okay, I don't know how to draw. And my old university, they were so focused on like the artistic part
Hmm.
of of the graphic design helm. So I was like, okay, I think this is not for me. So I think I write well. So those kinds of decisions that you took when you're young, you don't have much rationale. You're just like, oh, I think I'm good on this. I'm trying to do a career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's what I did. Okay, so I studied to pass in the journalism course at the another university, and I passed, and I was there. And after like 4 to 5 semesters, I think like, okay, this is harder than I thought, but let's keep doing, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was a good course. I think I met really good people. But when I was ending the course, I looked back and I said like, okay, so I ended this. Let's take a look at the market. Let's take a look at how and what I will be doing in the future. And in
Hmm.
Brazil, it still is like a hard market to be in as a journalist. It's a hard country, and I think the work conditions for a journalist, even for the big media outlets in Brazil, I think you work so hard, and
Hmm.
you don't have like a good compensation, and you are always fearing like layoffs and stuff like that. So it's not a comfortable position to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was finishing my course, I was like, okay, I don't think I want to work on this scenario because I don't want to have like to stress out every time that I'm working. So let's
Yeah.
try to see what I have here. And I had a friend back in my city. I was living in the south of Brazil, and she made a boot camp. Yeah, a boot camp on Delphi when she left the journalism course, and she got a job real quick. And back in my city, there we are very like a center for information technology in Brazil.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it was a good market, a good local market. So she got a job real fast, and I saw that, and I think, okay, let me try to see if I can fit on this thing too. And as you can imagine, I was like 5 7 years without touching any
Mm-hmm.
thing related to mathematics or to logic or to anything like
Yeah,
STEAM
yeah.
related.
It's like starting from
So
zero.
yeah, and I was like, okay, let's see. And to be part of this boot camp, because it was a free boot camp sponsored by the government,
Mm-hmm.
I had to make a test, a logical test. And I was like, okay, let's try. I mean, I already have like the no. Let's try to get the yes, right? So yeah, I did a test, and surprisingly, I passed on the on the logical test. So it was great, a great start. And I
Mm-hmm.
started this Java bootcamp. It was like four hours per day for 6 months.
Okay.
So it was a good one. And then I fell in love with programming, mainly because I was more mature,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see the differences between, for example, working as a journalist and working as a programmer. Let me
Mm-hmm.
try to explain. When you're a journalist, you write your text, you do your piece, like a video or a radio show or a written text, like an article for an outlet,
Mm-hmm.
and that's your production. But then you deliver your production to your editor, to your bosses, to everyone that will review and will change so much of the thing that you wrote, you did, that you can't recognize yourself anymore on the final product.
Mm.
And when you
Just
program, you know, yeah, when you program, you do your code, you do your production. Of course, you're gonna have reviews, but as I think this podcast is the proof of that, because you recognize my code and you reach out to me and you said like, yeah, the code is great, and let's chat. So that's good because I can see myself on my own thing, and I
it's
couldn't
your
see
own
myself.
product. Like it's your own product. Like
Yeah.
if no, I can understand that if the article has been like edited so much that you don't even recognize, like the original author doesn't recognize it,
Hmm.
you lose the personal touch with it, right?
Yes, that's perfect. Yeah, that was the thing that made me really proud of like being a software developer,
Mm-hmm.
because I can see myself and I can really do an impact on my own production. I think a real impact. Of course, as a journalist, you do impact,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a hard job, and at the end of the day, it's hard to see what parts did you do and what parts you didn't, and what was good, what was bad. So I
Yeah.
think I was like, okay, so this is great. I think I finally found something that I want to do for like a lot of years. So let's try to pursue that.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried. I studied again, and I passed on the system. It's a different name in Brazil, but it's not like computer science. It's more like information system course, which is more
Okay.
like focused on the market. And it was like just a part-time course. It's not like a full-time one.
Okay.
And it was, yeah, as I said, the city was really like booming on the technical and the IT scenarios. So they have this
Mm-hmm.
course to like to build like workforce. So yeah, and I passed on the course. It was like a hard one to pass to, And even before I started my classes, I was talking to some friends, like really proud because I just passed on the course and said like, okay, so now I'm gonna be a developer, and let me know if you have any opportunities there, so I can do like an internship or something like that.
Yeah.
And one of my friend, he was a co-founder of a digital marketing company, and the company was doing really good. They just got invested,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Okay, so just shoot me an email, and I will connect you with my CTO, and you can go from there."
Mm-hmm.
So I think, okay, again, I already have a no. Let's try to get a yes. I didn't have any experience at all. But I said like, okay, so I sent an email, said like, okay, I just passed on the university. I really want this opportunity. So if you can give me one, I'm there for you. So the CTO replied and said like, okay, I like your energy. So let's do a challenge, just a mini challenge so we can assess your programming skills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, okay, I have some Java background. Let's try to think about something else here. But then the challenge was on Ruby on Rails, because they were a web company.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, let's try it. But the bad thing was like, when they sent me the challenge, and I had like 4 days to do the challenge. I was moving places, and I was without any internet connection there. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, how can I do something in a challenge with a programming language that I don't know, which
without
is
internet.
web, yeah, web related without internet.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah, you can imagine how hard it was. But what I did was like, I went to the public library every day, and I tried to code from there because they had internet. So that's what I did. I didn't. I Of course I didn't do like a great job, but at least I tried, and I said to the CTO, "Here, this is the thing that I did. It doesn't have tests, but it's
Mm-hmm.
doing the thing that you asked it. It was an anagram challenge, a real simple one." So the guy said, "Okay, so I like what you tried to do. You accomplished well. So come here so we can have a conversation." So the next day I was there on the office. The personal interview was it was hard because I had to model something. I had to like do the Fibonacci thing that everyone asks, especially
Yeah.
back in the times. But they gave me the position. So the first internship, I was being paid, not that much, but it was a paid internship,
Mm-hmm.
and it was even before I started my course. So I found this amazing because I wasn't in the university. I wasn't even like in my first semester, and I already got a job. You
Yeah.
know, so I felt like I think I made a great decision here. So I
Mm.
kept doing, and then next phase is I was working hard, like 8 9 hours per day, and I tried to do my course at the night. And as you
So
can
during,
imagine, yeah.
sorry to cut you off, during all this time, you were working at your journalist job too.
Mm. No, actually, after I got in the course, I
Yeah.
was working between like the transition. I was doing some PR consultancy. I was doing some content creation,
So you had
but
a full-time job taking much of
yeah,
your day. Oh, I see.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then after I passed, and then after I got the internship, then I dropped. I quit the journalism, so just I
Mm-hmm.
can focus on the software
One thing.
development side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So the next is, yeah, I was working 9 hours per day and then trying to do a course at night, and it was really tiresome. And you work all day and then take your car, go through the traffic.
Yeah.
It was really bad on traffic, and then you arrive at the class. And in Brazil, in most of the university courses, you cannot skip classes. They are like, you have to
Oh.
go, otherwise you can't pass. Here I think you can just do the tests, and the classes are optional. If you want to go, you
Yeah.
go. If you don't want to go, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in Brazil you can't do that. So you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine, you have to go there, and sometimes the teachers and the professors, they are not the best ones, and you're like in this boring class trying to learn something from 20 15 years ago that you
Yeah.
really don't use. And it was like, oh my god, I'm so tired. and I'm trying to learn this thing, and I do your test, and it's not a good grade. And I was like, okay, so yeah, as you can imagine, after 3, 4 semesters, I couldn't do anymore, so I dropped from the university, and
Mm-hmm.
I just focused full time on my job. After like one year, 1 year and a half, I was hired as a full time position,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, after some years, I got promoted as a manager, and a little bit after that, I decided to go back as an individual contributor, so I can focus my career on going outside of the country. So that's when I decided to to come to Canada,
Mm-hmm.
because my wife came before me. At the
Okay.
time, she was my girlfriend, and she said like, "Okay, I'm going to Canada," and I said like, "Okay, I will go too. Let's go."
Yeah.
And I was working remotely for Brazil,
Uh-huh.
and it was really great because my company in the past, they gave me this opportunity to work remotely.
Mm-hmm.
It was not that common in the company, and back in the days as well. So yeah, and I was working for 1 year to Brazil, like earning in Brazilian reals and spending Canadian dollars.
Oh,
Was not
that's
the
harsh.
best. Yeah,
Yeah.
was not the best scenario as you can imagine, but yeah. And I worked it out, and I got my work permits to work in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a Brazilian friend that was working at Event Mobi at the time, and he
Okay.
said, "Yeah, we have front end positions." And yeah, we can talk later how I decided to focus on front end.
Yeah, yeah.
But then yeah, I got this job on Event Mobi, worked there for 1 year and 6 months, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to another company. Right now I'm working with the crypto market.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think now my career, I think it's great. I think if I look back, it was really quick how much I accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm really grateful for everyone who was part of my story, because without that co-founder, that friend,
Yeah.
and my parents, everyone that supported me through the harsh path, I
Mm-hmm.
think I couldn't do without them, because I think I have resilience. But if you don't have like your support net, it's really hard to do anything in your life, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. Now, when I like hear the story, it clearly shows that there has been like multiple times when the things got tough for you, right? I mean, like it wasn't that straightforward that the things were just getting in the way and you had like a lot of moving wheels going around. Um, how, I mean, like, where was there a moment where you felt like, is this actually the right way to do it? Why don't, I mean, when the situation gets tough, the first thing which comes to mind in human nature is, do I even need to do it? Why not just I just stay where I am? I mean, did you ever feel that?
Uh, yeah, yeah. I think when I was uh, at this first internship job,
Mm-hmm.
it was really hard for me to prove myself to the other developers and to the management, because I didn't have like a computer science background,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to get promoted. I was trying to get hired, and it was really hard because I worked well, and I wasn't receiving the recognition, and I was like, okay, so is this the right thing to do? I think, what about journaling? Perhaps I could have a better situation right now,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm already like, I don't know, 25 years old, and I'm trying to get promoted in an
Mm-hmm.
internship job. So of course, there are times you doubt yourself, and but fortunately that thing fueled myself, and I tried just to do harder, and I tried to just get even more serious in my career.
Mm.
I was looking around, and you know a lot of people that just came from like CS backgrounds, it was like the natural path for them, so they are more like relaxed in the work. They are like, just like, I know that I have a job, I know that I can get any job that I want, so I'm just like
Yeah.
relaxing. But for me, it was like, no, this is my life, this is my only chance. So I was much more focused, and sometimes it was good for me to be that
Mm-hmm.
focused and that serious on my career and my job. But sometimes it was not, because people misread my serious positions, and trying to be like, straightforward. And not that I was rude. I believe I wasn't rude, and that's the thing that I fight a lot in the computer science field and the software programming, because people think that it's okay to be rude, and I don't think it's okay to be rude at all.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was just trying to evolve real fast, and sometimes people just wanted to relax and just chat with your friends and just, yeah, we're working here, we are like a startup, so you don't have to be that serious, so just slack off. You're kind of annoying because you just want to work and talk about work stuff, and you're not part of the
Yeah, yeah,
club.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that thing was hard too, because I was just trying to prove myself, and I really want to be part of the software engineers, software developers club. I want to be part of that because I worked hard to be part of that,
Hmm.
and I was having this barrier as well. So yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, I feel like there was more added pressure to you because you wanted to prove yourself, not coming from CS background, that you belonged there. Correct?
Yes, yes, yes,
And so, do you think so? From what I listened, that actually helped you become more better at your job because you were focused. You knew that I need to prove. But if I ask you right now, did you think so that pressure was fair? Like, was actually people judging you from not being a CS background, or was it the pressure was actually correct, or you just created it for your own self?
you know that's a good question. Um, I looking back, I think a lot of the pressure was coming from myself. I believe, because
Hmm.
you doubt yourself a lot,
Yeah.
right? And especially for like coming from a more like communication set of skills, like,
Mm-hmm.
human related skills, and you're trying to go into a field that is really like STEAM, really like rational.
Yeah.
And I was always think like, I'm good at this.
Mm-hmm.
I can do like quick calculations in my head, and I was never like, a math person, so how can
Mm-hmm.
I be like a good programmer? So of course a lot of this came from my own mind, from myself. And but sometimes it's from the outside as well, because
Mm-hmm.
as I said, I was progressing real fast, so
Yeah,
coming
you were
from
batting
like,
eyes of the other people. Like they were
yeah,
noticing. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so yeah. Yeah, you're
Yeah, I
right,
mean,
but
like,
that's a good question. Yeah.
yeah, that's just that's what I feel like because whenever like it's a tough situation when specifically I would assume because I have never actually switched fields. I've always been in computer science, so
Hmm.
I always try to understand when a person is switching fields, it's an added pressure because they think that people are thinking that they don't belong there, and so they just I feel like the self-doubt adds on like a lot of pressure, which actually if sometimes I'm happy for you that it actually helped you focus more, but what I felt like is for some people that actually degrades their performance because they're adding more pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I used to talk with some bootcamp graduates from Toronto, and they're switching. Someone's from like banking field, someone's from like finance field, and they're like sometimes you can just understand that the person is trying too hard, and that way they're actually degrading their own performance.
Yes.
Because in development you gotta have a clear mind to actually think through the problem solution. So so that's what I like. I felt like the self doubt when you're switching when you're even switching career fields or even just doing anything which you haven't done before, that plays like a really big role. So Leo, how do you actually handle that voice in your head which sometimes tries to say you that it's not going to work out? Because I'm pretty sure everyone has that voice in their head, right?
Hmm.
What are your ways of handling it? How do you counter it to actually win over it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one as well. I think I've used some strategies in the past, but I believe the most important thing for me,
Mm-hmm.
as I was mentioned before, was having a safety net around me. and
Mm-hmm.
especially people. So I have this really great friend that I met on the first day of the university course at the system information course,
Yeah.
and he's one of my best friends. He's my best friend here in Canada for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked with him for a long time because he got an internship at the same company, and we were in the same situation. You know, he also dropped it off from the university, and he
Yeah.
was just working. And sometimes when I see that I wasn't handling well the pressure and I was doubting myself a lot, I went to talk to him, and I said
Mm.
like, "Oh, I'm feeling like this, and I'm feeling really bad because people, I don't know, they're not understanding, or I think I think I'm not getting the promotion. I think I'm working so hard,
Yeah.
and my bosses, they are not like seeing the work that I'm doing. So do you
Mm-hmm.
think I'm doing well?" And it's good to have a different perspective. My
Yeah. Yeah.
friend was always like very open, and he said like good and bad things for
Mm-hmm.
my own growth. So but a lot of times, just like my life, like, okay, so you have to remember how you did you enter this field, and how much did you accomplish until now. So you are not bad, so stop doubting yourself. So just
Mm-hmm.
look at the good things. You have good skills, you bring like different perspectives to the field because you came from like a different background. So
Yeah.
you bring good things to the field, so don't doubt yourself. That was
Mm-hmm.
good. And of course, after I married, after I found a good partnership in my life, I think I always use people around me. I know that
Yeah.
sometimes people just try to, put all the pressure inside to avoid messing with the people around you. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I am the opposite. I'm very open, sometimes too open to the people around me, because I think I'm always open to help people, and I think that's one of the reasons you have people in your life, to help
Yeah.
on this tough situation. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I used to cope with these self-doubting moments. Of course, I
Mm-hmm.
still have them, even if I am a senior developer right now. Of course, sometimes you find yourself in situations like, why I'm not getting this? How can I do better?
Yeah.
And I use the same thing, like talk to the person around you, and see.
Mm.
I think it was good. I just digressing a little bit. For example, we have a friend, a common friend, you and I think you, Umer,
Yeah.
who is working on the mobile. He's a great guy as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
He used to do these daily logs on what he accomplished in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and I think daily is too much, but it is a great tool to look back and see how much you have accomplished in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, and
Yeah.
you're doubting yourself, you look back to a log like this, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so I think I'm doing good. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's just try to relax a little bit and just keep doing the good work.
Well, you actually mentioned this daily log thing. He actually showed me that, and I actually picked up that habit too. I actually agree with you. That's a really great habit, and I've started doing it. At the end of the day, I just write down whatever I did, which is I like. Thank you to Mayor to actually telling me that too. It's really fun. Like now see back at the logs of like July. I can see what I did in July.
Yeah,
Second, it shows like what you have accomplished. It just gives you a bigger perspective.
of course. Yeah, that's a great habit for sure. It's hard to stick to it,
Yeah.
but it's really good to not just only to, for example, have like the resources to show that you accomplished
Uh huh.
for your managers and everything, but also to boost your own like self-esteem, because you can look
Yeah.
back and say, okay, I did good work, and if you didn't, it's something that you have to work on it.
Yeah.
At
It's a
least you have
sign that you
something.
gotta improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, I want to ask you something. So tell me if I'm wrong, and tell me how, at what extent do you think that affected your? Oh, let me frame the question this way. So you told me that your graphic design course was more creative focused, correct? Would you call yourself a creative person?
Uh, I think it's so open and abstract, like this term, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Being creative.
So
But yeah, go ahead.
okay, I was gonna say, like, let's frame this question this way. So what I want to take you to, the main question I want to ask is, how much role do you think that creative training, like the training to think creatively or trying to think creatively, played in your current development roles? Like, do you think so that has helped you while solving problems because you have that creative perspective? I just want to, because I'm always curious to understand when people are able to implement something which is of some other field into development and are able to actually take benefit of it, which I really like
Hmm.
it's because it affects, right? Because your mind is using two great things and mixing them up and producing another great thing.
Yeah, yeah, I think now I understand. Uh, I think, of course, I use tools that I think I brought from other like areas that I was studying. I
Mm-hmm.
think, for example, from journalism, I think the way how to structure like your mind and how to go from top to bottom in a
Uh-huh.
problem, and especially how to translate something that I just learned to something that I have to work on it to show to someone else. And that you can translate to code as well, because you have to get the requirements and have to think how to structure. So back in the days and until today, sometimes if the problem is too hard, I take a piece of paper and I start to structure the thing before I start. And that was something that I did in journalism as well. When I was doing like an article or something to just organize my notes, I have
Mm-hmm.
to put everything on a paper and I structure everything that I have to do before I start. So I think that thing translated to the code for sure. I think I trained myself a lot on how to get information, digest, and put out in the world during the journalism,
Mm.
during like even in graphic design as well, because that's all the designers do, like try to
Yeah.
put another meaning to things to try
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
signify a lot. So that, I think now that we are talking about how we can correlate, I think that has a huge impact for sure on how I think. And I got like good feedbacks in the past on how good I was in organizing my ideas and showing the ideas. So
Hmm.
that's a good thing, because sometimes we have great minds in the field, like developing great systems, but when you ask this person to show how this person think, and okay, write an article to just to show and share your knowledge, and it's so hard for them to write something and to organize the ideas, because they just know, because they just know. It's not something they
Yeah. Yeah.
thought, how can I explain how I know this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I've developed different skills that of course helped me a lot. So I think it compensates a little bit about my lack of mathematical background, for example. So
But it makes you unique, right? I mean, in the
yeah.
sense that, I mean, I've heard, like, I've read it and I've heard, like, finding a developer who can communicate well is the perfect developer. It's kind of like close to a perfect developer, because if a person who's developing, you're working in a team, you can't communicate your ideas well. Well, it's tough to use your skills,
Yes, yes,
right?
yeah. I think it's better to have someone that is not a genius in software development, but can communicate better and can exchange information better, than have
Yeah.
someone that is really great, but if this person leaves you, you are
Mm-hmm.
screwed, because you never got the knowledge for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. You started in backend, but now you're like front end focused, like specially front end focused.
Hmm.
Talk me through that transition, because normally I don't see backend developers liking front end that much. That's
Yeah.
what my experience has been. So, well, how did you end up in front end? Like, what happened?
Yeah, you're right. I think a lot of my friends that they started on backend, and a lot of the
Yeah.
people that I know, they stick to the backend, and it's hard for them to transition to front end. But I also
Uh
know
huh.
people that do both really well, and I think those are the real unicorns, in the field.
Yeah.
But for myself, when I started like Java and Ruby and even Python, it was a great start to get the good fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
and I was progressing, and I wasn't really paying attention on which field to focus. I was just trying to do a good job and then to perform well as a developer.
Uh-huh.
So, but I always say, like, I love to solve problems, even on the back, on the front end, and I was doing that. But at a certain period of time during my first job, I noticed that I liked more to solve problems on the layer that people, the real user touches, than on
Mm.
the layer that is more like on the background, so the backend. So even in Ruby on Rails, you have like the view layer, and you have
Mm-hmm.
like jQuery and all the JavaScript interacting with this layer.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, how can we improve that? So naturally, I was going to teams, and I was leading teams that were more like focused on this layer. And from that, I evolved to like the different frameworks. And then I found React, and it was something that I really appreciated. And it was great because the front end field was finally getting mature, getting like
Yeah.
100% professional, and you see like those big companies behind React, Angular,
Mm-hmm.
Vue, and it's like, okay, so this is a field. I think this is something that I can invest on, because I was used to place bets on my career,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yeah.
was a bet. So should I bet on back end? Should I bet on front end? And I knew that I was going to receive some prejudice to choose front end because that's this thing that the real developers, they do the back end, C++, C, and all these back end low level language. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm used to receive prejudice on my career, so I will choose this thing anyway, and I will advocate for it.
Uh-huh.
So that's the thing. I think I chose, and I stick to my position. Not something that I say like, I took front end because they were paying well, and I just do because. But I know front end is not that good, and that's not the thing that I do. And I
Mm.
was like advocating, and in this last job, I used to have a manager, a director that I asked them because when I joined the company was like the classic company that we do a lot of great backend development here, and the
Mm-hmm.
front end is like, okay, it's something that we do here and there. We don't pay too much attention, and that's we have to do because we have to show our product. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's the front end. And I asked the director. The guy has a lot of experience, worked in a lot of companies, and I said like, why we have this culture here, and why the other developers they don't like to work on front end.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that he said was really different for me. It stuck with me because he said mainly it's because they are afraid. And I was asked why they are afraid. I mean, they are afraid because it's something that is really different from what they do. They are afraid that they are interacting with the real users. If they screw up on the UI
Mm.
that much, it would be like really easy to spot who did this thing and who screwed up with this UI. And if they don't know the language, if they don't know the mindset on doing good front end code, they will not be comfortable. So for most of them, they just like to be comfortable in a position that you do like really great and optimal backend code, but you don't want to adventure yourself on something that you really don't know and you can cause real impact on
Mm.
on the end user. And that's the exact thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to cause real impact on the end user, so that's why I focus on the front end.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So,
it was like that.
do you think that because you were coming from journalism, you were used to having your product, even though edited, but going in front of the customer, that kind of affected your decision of wanting to be in the same situation in the development field too? That you wanted your product to go into in front of the customer?
I think that's a good connection. It's a good way of thinking about it. Uh, yeah, yeah. I think yeah. One of the reasons that I joined journalism is to cause impact in people's lives for sure, and to help society, which is like a bigger thing.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was natural for me to real try to connect because I'm a people person and I try to connect with people. And
Yeah.
the development field, the best layer to connect with people,
It's the front end.
it's a front end because you are
Yeah.
closer to the designers, and the designers do the user research. And I love the user researches, so I think it was a natural move if you think in retrospect, for sure.
Yeah, and I also feel like you were comfortable actually putting yourself in front of the users, kind of thing, because you're used to putting your product in front of consumers and
Yeah,
able to
that's
take the
right.
heat, right? I
Hmm.
mean, so I can understand that you would be more comfortable as compared to a backend developer who has never actually been haven't actually put out any product in front of real
Yeah,
users.
expose
Yeah,
himself.
expose yourself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of guts. I mean, like it's not that easy for some people to actually be able to just. It's just natural, some people are
yeah,
just not that willing to do it.
yeah. I think, and it's totally fine. If you like
Yeah,
more
yeah,
to be on the background, I think it's really important. I think it's the foundation of everything, and I respect that.
yeah.
The only thing is that the respect should be mutual. I think you have to
Exactly.
recognize that you are a background person. Yeah, you don't want to show yourself, and that's good. But you don't say bad things about the people that want to show themselves and to
Yeah,
work with a layer that touches more with you, the end users.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely mutual. I totally agree with you. It's both. It's like both complement each other, right? Front end, back end,
Yeah,
both complement each other.
yeah. The best
So
companies, they have like great backend developers and backend squads and
yeah,
amazing front end squads. Like you think Facebook, Netflix, I think they are like
yeah,
references for both sides.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So okay, some random question. So now you're working for a cryptocurrency base. Are you getting paid
Hmm.
in Bitcoin?
If I what?
Are you getting paid in Bitcoin?
No, 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 no. I
Oh,
mean,
come on.
we are in the early stages of this crypto revolution, the thing that
Uh-huh.
we say, and Canada and I think all the capitalist world, they are still like really based on the old coins, the old money. So
Fiat money? Yeah.
yeah, the fiat money. So if we're living in a world that crypto was everywhere, I can soon enough you can buy Teslas with Bitcoin. But if you can do everything with crypto, of course, I think I would be paying in Bitcoin. But since we are in a fiat world, I think it's just fair that we are paying in fiat. But of course, a lot
Yeah.
of us just translate this fiat to Bitcoin at the end of the day, especially these days.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I actually read your Medium article about. I read all of your articles, but one of them I really wanted to talk about was how you were able to manage the your own understanding of your own productivity as a manager, where
Hmm.
you mentioned that actually writing your what you're doing into the sticky notes helped you. I want to focus how important is the role of writing in your life,
Hmm.
considering now that you don't get to write that much. I can
Yeah.
see how in journalism your writing is so important. So is same as writing code is to as a developer, writing on a paper is same to a journalist. But as you switched, how how is the role of writing still right now, and how important it is for a person to write according to your personal opinion?
Okay. So yeah, thanks for reading the articles. They are quite old because I was writing them mostly when I was in Brazil. But that
Hmm.
one about how to become a good developer manager, that really helped me. And when I was mentioned before, I used to take a lot of notes when I was journalism,
Hmm.
and I still take a lot of notes. And to answer the question about writing, I don't think I don't know if this is something about our generation, but for me, if I want to learn something well, if I'm studying hard a topic,
Hmm.
I have to take a piece of paper, a pencil, or a pen, and I have to write like physical notes. I have to put some ink on the paper, because I think that's the way my brain is used to learn.
Hmm.
So I think writing plays is a really important role in my life overall, but especially my career, because I think my brain is like just act like this. If you really want to learn a topic, you have to write physical notes. I try to, I have this iPad with the pencil
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that, but it's not the same thing. It's not like the physical thing. And there are studies that show that. the act of like just putting the pen and the paper and write like
Hmm.
physical notes, it stimulates your brain in a certain way that you are able to absorb the knowledge. So
Yeah.
I think if you ask me how important is writing for me, I think it's really important because that's the way I learn most of the hard topics that I have to learn.
And how have you integrated that in development? I mean, so how, like, if you're, say, if you're working on a problem, do you actually break it down on paper even right now? And how do you think that helps? I mean, like, because most of the people, what even I would do is I'll just write it in the notes or something. Okay, what I want to do, or in comments, I'll just write. But do you still write it on paper, or how do you like target that?
Yeah, good question. I think depending on the problem. If
Mm-hmm.
it's a problem that I'm really comfortable and used to do it, I don't pass through the layer of like writing in the paper.
Yeah.
I just go straight to the code, and
Mm-hmm.
if I need, I do like a diagram in a web app, and that's it. But if it's a new thing and something that I have to figure out how to even start thinking about the problem,
Mm-hmm.
then I take a big piece of paper. I start drawing the diagrams. I start drawing like the flows, the
Mm-hmm.
mind the
Yeah.
mind
Yeah.
flows, and then I progress and I take pictures. Sometimes I even these days I take pictures and I share with my coworkers, my colleagues, and I show how I'm thinking and how do we progress.
Mm-hmm.
And then okay, I become comfortable with the topic, and the next time I'm touching this topic, probably I'm gonna get a glance of on my notes, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
writing anymore. So nowadays it's not that frequent that I write notes. But as I said, if I'm facing something that is more complex that I'm used to, I
Mm-hmm.
of course I try to put on a paper and try to start like thinking and structure my mind. So
Mm-hmm.
the next time it's easier for me to just flow through the topic.
Do you miss writing?
Writing, no.
No.
No, professional writing, as I was
Yeah.
doing journalism, I don't miss at all. I love coding, and I prefer to write code nowadays for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. I was like, oh, you're gonna say, oh, I write a lot on the weekends. It's like you just keep writing. But I would actually like love to see more articles coming from you. I mean, like as a
Yeah,
reader, like if on Medium, I mean, I feel like your writing is pretty. I can see how clearly you structure the ideas, which is great for the reader because it's easy to follow. So I would actually, as a reader, I'm waiting for your more articles.
great. That's a great advice. I was planning to write more, especially to help like the community, like to give back a lot.
Yeah.
So of course, I was thinking about like a course or even articles, but yeah, I think I will follow up on that. Thanks for reminding me that
Yeah, I'm
people
waiting for
wants to
yours.
read.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll keep pinging you every week until you write an
please
article.
ping me. Yeah,
I'm gonna keep you accountable on this.
for sure. I
Okay.
love that. I love that.
So Leo, what if I ask you what's your secret sauce? What would
Huh.
that be?
Uh, that's a good one. Let me think for a bit.
Yeah, sure. I know you don't want to put all your secrets out, but what's your secret
uh,
sauce? Like what
i-
makes Leo Leo? What makes Leo Leo? I want to know that.
if I could share any like secret sauce that people can really use, I would share because I love to see
even if
people
even if people
evolve.
can't use it, I just want to know what works for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Because you never know what we actually usually think most people won't like, some of the people would actually try using it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
So just tell me what works for you. Don't care about people. I just want to know what Leo.
sure. Look, I think what works for me, and that I think what differentiates me from others in the field, I think it's because I have a real and genuine people based approach. I
Hmm.
try to treat like developers as people. I don't like people using resources as a synonym for people in the field, for
Hmm.
example. So when I bring this more humanistic approach to the field, and I show this to the managers, and besides that, I'm also doing a good work on the code, and I try
Hmm.
to just uh, try to bring everyone together, try to like boost everyone together
Mm-hmm.
with me. I try to grow with people and not against people. And I think in this field, this is not so common. So I think that's why managers and people like to work with me and like to like my work. And it's hard to say, but I think after having so many difficulties to grow on my career, right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm so used to receive feedbacks, good
Mm-hmm.
ones and bad ones, especially bad ones. Then when I face like a bad feedback, and I think I was able to develop a good level of humbleness when it comes to code, because I didn't came from like a computer science background,
Mm-hmm.
and so I am always humble to learn from a code review from someone more like experienced than me, and to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Of course I'm not perfect. If I someone arrived and doesn't have the best approach to share their feedback, it will be hard for sure to adapt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But after like we figure out each other, and I can really trust that person,
Mm-hmm.
I think I can. I try to learn as much as I can, and it doesn't matter who the person is and what's their background. If I can learn, if I can evolve, I try to be like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not like a magic one that I have. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
my secret thing is try to focus on people,
Mm-hmm.
because we are people, work with people, building stuff for other people. So
Yeah.
it's a people business. It's not like a computer science. It's not a we are not building like atomic bombs or launching spaceships
Yeah.
to the outer world. We are doing software that people wants to use to solve problems. So we are people business, and I'm humbled to accept that my work sometimes is not the best thing, so I can evolve. So I think those are my two
Yeah. I feel
ingredients.
like when you say that you wanna, what you target your work as is growing with people, right? That comes from a place where you have actually inherently accepted this idea that it's not a zero sum game. It isn't like you win and everyone else loses. Of if anyone else win, you loses, because you understand that we all can win together.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, I feel like that's a really an interesting concept to actually integrate in your own life, because a lot of situations come in where even I would start considering it as a zero sum game. It's like either I lose or either I win. But it's I really like how I can see that you have integrated that approach into your work inherently. That you are able to understand that it's we all can win together,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's
that's
the best way. Sometimes it's hard to have this mindset going on in a company, in a group of people.
uh-huh.
But and that's something that I always advocate to reach that point, because it will be better for everyone working, and everyone in the all the layers of the environment that you were working.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think actually that's the only way that I know how to do a good job, is if I have space to work like that, and if
uh-huh.
people are willing to work like that.
Mm-hmm. Um, Leo, so if I would ask you, what's your favorite failure? What would that be? So, like a failure which happened in your life and it sucked at the moment, but now if you look back at it, you're grateful that it happened. What would that be?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. uh, I think one of the greatest failure that I had in my career, and now I can learn from it, is when I was becoming the manager for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, I really love to empower people and to bring everyone together with me.
Yeah.
And I thought at the time that okay, so now I'm a manager, so now I'm gonna do a great work on like one-on-ones, mentorship, and try to grow this person to the next level and everything. But I was younger for sure. I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
enough field experience, like work experience, But as you could saw on my path, I never say no. I try to figure out what I have to do to be a great developer, a great manager. So I was like, okay, so now I gotta be a great manager. So let's go.
Yeah.
And I had this intern back in my old company, and it was a woman. So I felt like, great, let's empower like women in the field. It's so hard for them. So I try to be like this pillar that will make her like a great developer. Will give her confidence, and let's do it.
Yeah.
So I was with this energy, and I was like, okay, let's book a lot of one-on-one meetings. Let's try to progress in your career. And I was always coming with energy to say like, "Ooh, okay, so what are we gonna do? And what's your next step? And tell me about it. What you wanna do?" But and the
Yeah.
person was like, one-on-ones. I don't like one-on-ones, and this is boring. I just wanna code,
Yeah.
and let's yeah, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm doing this. And I was like, oh my god, so what can I do? So I was, I was like so excited to like empower an intern because I was an intern at the time in my past. So I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So I think at the end I was thinking like, okay, so this person I can help. I can
Yeah.
help because she doesn't want to help, and okay, I just leave it there, and let's just keep doing good work in other fields. But now that I look back, I say like, okay, I think I didn't have the best approach. I had to work with a different profile. How can I achieve? Like, how can I connect to that person in a level that this
Mm.
person will respect me? You don't want to bring your views and your perspective on what's best for them. You have to listen
Mm.
much more when you're a leader, when you're a manager, to understand what they need at this point. And if they need just one thing here and there, that's fine. I think it's their path.
Mm.
One-on-ones and their career, it's for them. It's not for us. So I was trying to have a case from her, like a showcase, but one-on-ones and leading someone is not for you and your career. It's for them. So when I look back, I thought that was a failure because I could help her much more than I helped in the past. So I was asking her things that I thought it would be good for her career, and I wasn't listening that much,
Mm.
you know. And that's something that hurts because, as I said, I really love people and I love to work with people, and I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
able to help that intern at that time.
Yeah.
So
Do you
I
do
can
you think
consider.
so? Do you think so? What happened was that you wanted to provide what you felt was missing when you were intern. So when you were intern, what you wanted to provide all of that stuff to the other intern when you were the manager. Did I frame the question correct?
Yes, yes, I understand the question, and yes, for sure, that played a lot
Mm-hmm.
on the on what I was trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
especially because I knew that if the intern on that company, if they don't do those things that I was telling them, it
Yeah.
will be really hard for them to grow
Yeah,
as
yeah,
fast as I grew. So
yeah.
I was like, I know the path. This is what you gotta do. Why we are not doing? Because you're gonna be
Uh-huh.
stuck in this position if you don't do this. It was really annoying,
Yeah,
and
it's frustrating, I can imagine.
but that's the path. I think you have to let people choose their path, and you have to be there
Yeah.
just to support on whatever path they choose.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Leo, you talk about when you talked about that you applied to that email, that CTO, he said that he liked your energy. Right now,
Hmm.
you said you bring a lot of energy to the intern while mentoring them. So how do you maintain your personal energy? Because I mean, like, I feel like people burn out. Some people who have like a lot of energy, I mean, like, I'm one of them. I like to do a lot of stuff, so I'm usually having a lot of energy. But sometimes everyone has their own strategies of maintaining their energy. You don't want to burn out. What are your strategies of maintaining your own personal energy so that every day you're the same Leo?
Uh, of course, I'm not the same Leo every day. That's one thing that we have to be clear about it. But
Okay.
I try to be the best version of myself every day in my life and at
Uh-huh.
work, of course. And I think this pandemic, it's really demonstrating that it's really hard to keep your energy up,
Mm-hmm.
especially because answering the question, I renew my energy a lot through like physical exercise.
Yeah.
I was always so active in Brazil, and here I try to be as active as I was.
Uh-huh.
I'm also a jiu-jitsu instructor, so that's something,
Ooh.
teaching in the programming field and also teaching in the jiu-jitsu field also renews my energy a lot. When I go, I think I do Saturday classes. I teach Saturday classes, and that's something that really
Wait, in Toronto?
in Toronto, yeah, yeah.
Where?
It's here on Adelaide and Bathurst. It's the Gracie Barra in Toronto. So if you wanna have a trial class with us next time, you're
Well, I'll
more than
roll.
fit.
I'll come and roll with you. Yeah, sure. I've been to a couple jiu-jitsu classes. I didn't like it where I went, so I just dropped it.
Oh,
But
here in
yeah, but
Toronto?
yeah, I was
Oh
in
man.
Scarborough. I'm in Scarborough, so there are like a
Okay.
couple of jiu-jitsu places here. I did not really like it that much, so I was like, oh no, I'm just gonna drop it. But maybe I'll just drop by and you're gonna train me.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about it later because at
Yeah,
Gracie Barra we have a very different approach on jiu-jitsu, and I know how bad jiu-jitsu gyms can be, and I
yeah.
think you will do great on our gym for sure. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so physical exercise and trying to get some time off from programming. And for me, having friends and again the support net around you,
yeah.
that's why I feel so bad for people that is living alone. I don't know if you're living alone right now in the city,
Well, I have my
but
sister, but yeah.
yeah, that could be good, that could be bad. I don't know, but but yeah, I think it's not that a lot of stuff. I think physical exercise. I always tell everyone it's really, really, really important,
Yeah.
especially on this field because we spend a lot of hours like seated in meetings and thinking so hard, just exercising this part of your brain that
Mm,
you have to go out and try to exercise another part of your brain, like just physical coordination, strength, like breathe, like you like good air, and that will complement like your brain balance, so
yeah.
that's the thing that I suggest everyone to do if they can.
No, that's great. That's great. So Leo, so now you have that become like a purely front end focused person. So your understanding of JavaScript has increased and the front end code has increased. So if you would have to tell a junior person or person who's starting his career, or I could frame it like this: what do you look for? What is clean code for you? What is a good code for you? Like, what are you looking for, and what do you think are the good practices for you in general practices, which you would tell like a junior person or a person who's just starting off?
um, I would suggest yeah, especially for the front end field or for all the fields.
Let's keep it general. Yeah, let's keep it general. Like all the fields. In like, how would you suggest some approaches to programming, like development focus approaches? What would that
Mhm.
be? A couple of them.
Yeah, but I think I have I don't know if it's a different opinion, but if I'm like giving an advice to a junior developer starting on the field, I would say let's try to focus on solving problems
Mm-hmm.
and see the results of your work as fast as possible. So I wouldn't suggest them to, okay, so study algorithms, study all the data structures, study all these complex things before you start working in something that you can see the fruits of your labor. No, I think programming, you have space to be a great like data engineer. You have to like you can work in machine learning, you can work with really low level embedded system, but there are spaces that you can feel like just solving problems, and especially in front end. So try to find a problem that you really want to solve and
Mm-hmm.
try to learn a language that you can be productive as fast as possible. So that's why I like the front end frameworks, because you can be productive real quick,
Mm-hmm.
and languages like loosely typed as Ruby and Python as well, which can be like fast to solve problems. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that I would suggest. And when you decided on a language or a field that you like, for example, if you decided to choose front end, and if you decide to choose React as your main language,
Mm-hmm.
TypeScript or anything, I would suggest like, okay, so now you pick a JavaScript and React. So now try to understand and study how to think in React, because you
Hmm.
got even JavaScript, you have a lot of ways to architecture your code, to model your code, and to develop something to be production ready. You have
Hmm.
thousands of ways of doing that. But if you start learning and you start like thinking how to think in React, it will be you increase your productivity a lot, and you will be
Hmm.
solving problems much faster, and you will impress people much faster than if you try just to, okay, I will try to learn React, but a little bit of Elm and Angular, and then I will be good in Python and Ruby, and then I will do a AWS course. I see a lot of junior developers trying to cover everything at the same time.
Yeah.
And as I like, okay, no, I think it's better to focus one thing, and you have to be good at solving problems as fast as possible and
Hmm.
with a good quality. So try to be good on one thing first, and then you can like expand, and your own career and your own studies will guide your next path. You
I
know,
see. Yeah.
I don't instant formula that just give you like all the steps. Okay, you have to learn this, this, and that. Be
Hmm.
good at this stack and that stack, and then you're gonna achieve this thing.
Hmm.
I don't like this formula. I always say like just try to focus on one path and in one topic, and then you can evolve from that.
Yeah. No, I really like how you said that your career will guide you where you need what you need to learn and what you need to do next, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's true. Like if you focus on one thing and you start working on different problems, you need to figure out you'll naturally figure out what next thing you need to learn rather than learning everything, which is actually like a really great advice. Yeah, thanks for that. Leo, I see a couple of books at the back. So if I would ask you one book you would give to anyone, it doesn't have to be here, but what if kind of like what's your favorite book or one book you would gift to anyone else? What would that book be?
Ah, mm, it's hard. I'm trying to find that book, and I don't think I have one book that I can give to someone
Okay.
so they can learn. But I would suggest, for example, this one, which is A Philosophy of Software Design from John Osterhout.
Okay.
Uh, it's a good book, but it's a dangerous book. So I would suggest you read this book with a more senior developer, because if you take all the knowledge and all the things that these authors say in this book and try to bring to your daily work, it can be
Yeah.
dangerous for
Oh,
you. So
okay.
you have to balance well. So it's a great book for beginners, but it's something that you have to discuss with more senior developers to see if is this make sense. This is this I cannot apply this on my daily work or not. But
I see.
I see a lot of good advice here, and you know, man, yeah. Besides that, I think a lot of other books they are good, but not as good that I wanna share
Gifted
and
someone.
suggest here. Yeah, yeah. So I would stick to this one. Read it. It's a short book. It has like I don't know to, to 150 pages. So it's
Hmm.
not a gigantic book, and it's really easy to follow through.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd suggest
Oh,
that.
that's great. I might just get it.
Go get it. Yeah, let's do a book club on that.
Yeah, I won't mind. I mean, like, I'll actually do it with you if you're okay with it. I
Yeah,
mean,
for sure.
you'll be my senior developer. I can ask
No,
if
no, no.
that's make
Let's
sense or not.
let's bring a lot of people together. I think I love doing book clubs.
Yeah, that'll be great. So Leo, if I would ask you, what is the a challenge you're working on in your own life? Like right now, what's your major obstacle challenge you're targeting and working on or getting better at? What would that be?
Mm. So right now, my biggest professional challenge
Mm-hmm.
is trying to be a good front end architect, because I used to work on the field for quite for a long time now, and now on my company and on my career, I'm on that position that I have to decide the future of our front end systems.
Mm.
So that's something that is new for me, and
Mm-hmm.
that involves a lot of different areas. So I'm trying to learn and study more on like domain design, on how to model system and how to apply this to front end, and
Mm-hmm.
have this critique view on the new stuff that is coming out. So is this good for my platform or not? So I'm trying to be like a more like to improve my strategic vision on the
Mm-hmm.
front end, because before I was much more tactical on the day by day work, so
I see
that's
your
my
point.
biggest challenge. Yeah.
Oh no, that's great. Um, oh, my Siri just activated. I don't know why,
No.
but I don't know why the Siri
A
just
lot.
got activated.
Yeah, it
Sorry.
happens at most
Um,
odd times.
yeah, I know, right? Leo, so if you're stuck on island, you have only
Mhm.
three things you can bring with yourself. What would you take?
Oh boy, those questions are always so hard, man. Like consider that I have food and how to survive. I vaca, man. It would be really annoying if I don't have anyone around me. But people are not things, so I can bring people. You know. So let's see. Uh, Man, it's hard. I think I will bring my guitar, my acoustic guitar, because I will have a lot of time to just play. And right now I don't have much time
Okay.
to play, so a guitar is one thing. I really try to bring I don't know, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so I can read again
Oh,
in
really?
gigantic book. And I think it's a really great to pass time because I have food, I have everything that I want. But of
Yeah.
course, if I don't have people around, again, I would be so depressed. And oh, boy, the third thing, I don't know. I'll bring a way of communicate with the outer world. I have to talk to people about that. Oh, it's
So
a
just gonna bring
radio,
your phone,
yeah, phone, a computer, or
wireless radio.
yeah, something that I can talk to my relatives, to people. Yeah, if I don't talk to people, if I don't interact, I will die. That's
No, but that's great. Leo, what's your strategy of managing time? Like, how do you manage time? I mean, I feel like everyone faces that devil of procrastination, right? Which
hmm
I'm gonna
for sure.
assume you do too. So
Yes.
I'm always looking for strategies because I love trying different things. You never know what's gonna click up, you know.
Yes, yes, for sure. Uh, um, I don't have like one specific thing that I follow every day. It depends
Yeah.
a lot on the problem, on the
Uh-huh.
project. But sometimes I like to use the timers so I can focus on like the Pomodoro thing. Not
Oh,
strict
like
Pomodoro, but I
25
sometimes,
5.
yeah, I usually do like 40 because I think
Mm-hmm.
25 is
Low.
short for the
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of problems that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that really, really, really helped that I suggest everyone that is able to do is doing pair programming. So you are really productive when you're doing pair programming because you have to be focused because you don't want to let the other people down because you're just like slacking off or just distract. So pair programming, it's a good thing to productivity and to manage time as well because you can block like a morning on an afternoon. So I will do pair programming with this person,
Mm-hmm.
and then you use your time in a really good and productive way. So
Because you
pair
got
program,
another person keeping you accountable.
yeah, yes, yes, and and yeah, and of course, if you have any power to manage, how do you do your like meetings, your regular
Mm-hmm.
meetings? I would
Mm-hmm.
suggest like having like at least one the 3 day free of meetings day
Mm-hmm.
per week. So talk to your team, to your manager, and see if you can have like one meeting free day per week at least,
Mm-hmm.
and how to evolve from there. I know people in the companies that try to do like free mornings or free afternoons, but that is
Yeah.
really hard for most of the companies. But at
Yeah.
least one free day, especially for the developers, because it's important to really focus on the problems. I really
Mm-hmm.
like to like interact with people, but sometimes in your like our problems that we solve, we have to have like laser focus. Otherwise, it will be so hard to solve the problems.
No, that's true. No, that's good advice. I mean, like, yeah, that makes sense. I've never actually looked at pair programming through that angle. That is actually making you more focused. You don't procrastinate because
Yeah.
the other person is keeping you accountable. That's a really valid point.
Especially for
Um,
remote, because you're not in the
yeah,
office. So in
yeah,
your home, you can like procrastinate a lot because I have to do this and that, and you have all your things around you that can distract you. But if you have a pair programming schedule, you have
yeah.
to be like as you were in the office because there
You
are
got the other
someone else
person
waiting
there.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to tell me about the other things. I got my bed at my back.
Yeah, man. That is really inviting.
I
Oh
know,
boy.
right? The moment you're working, you're like, huh, I should maybe take a
uh,
nap or something.
Especially after lunch, man, it's
I
the
know,
worst
right?
time.
That's the toughest one. That's the
Yeah.
toughest one. After lunch, I'm like, oh, my energy is gone. I just gotta take a nap or something.
But at least you have a stand up, right? A stand up desk.
Oh yeah, 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 I do.
It
So
helps to
that's
be like standing up, yeah. And
yeah,
pair
that
programming. Schedule your pair programming after lunch so you avoid like that laziness after lunch. And you can start slow, start like 30 minutes taking some coffee and just talking with the other person like this and that, and then you
yeah.
can start work because you just fueled your brain and now you're ready to work.
You're back into the work mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leo, so it's been almost an hour. I'm not going to take that much of your time. I know you have to go snowboarding. I don't want to take
No
the fun
problem.
out of it.
Yeah.
But if you could step into my shoes and ask yourself one question that I didn't ask, what would that be?
um let's see.
So interview yourself and get the best
Try
question.
to interview that's a great like interview strategy, like, so what do you have asked yourself that I didn't ask? I think you did a great job as an interview. I think you have experience doing that because I was seeing that you have like a lot of episodes there, um
Well, thank you.
related related to the field. um
It
I
doesn't have to
think.
be related to the field. I mean, don't worry about it. Anything you want. I mean, like the purpose of me asking this question is sometimes I don't ask because I don't ask something which other person wants to tell me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
wants to share, yeah.
yeah, wants to share. So I want you to share what you want to get it out. Like you want to other people to know. So I want to know that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I have a good one. I think we didn't touch a lot on the interview processes on
Yeah.
around the software development field, and this relates to how do you bring new people and different people to work in the field. And I really believe the interview processes they play a huge role on how do we filter people that are joining the workforce for software development.
Yeah.
uh, in North America, in Europe, in Brazil, everywhere. I
Mm-hmm.
think right now our interview system is broken. I don't think we do good interviews in general. So I
Mm-hmm.
look for companies that do like a better job on interviewing processes. My current company does a great job because we don't put the candidate on the spot. We don't ask algorithm questions. We don't ask
Mm-hmm.
like tricky questions. We don't ask them to code live in front of us because they have to show themselves. We don't ask like weird SQL questions and
Yeah.
write this query on the whiteboard. We don't do that. We just ask the person to bring a code that they are really proud of, and
Mm-hmm.
let's discuss on your own code. Let's discuss what do you know about this field on your code perspective. So
Yeah.
I think this is much better. And if you want to bring like different people to the field, that's the thing that everyone says, like, let's bring diversity, let's bring like other backgrounds, let's bring other people to the field because everyone can benefit because we have different point of views and all these HR things that they say. But we are
Mm-hmm.
not doing this right now because we are stuck with the same hiring processes from 50, 60 years ago, I don't know, 30 years ago, and we still
Yeah.
ask the same whiteboard questions. We still ask we are still following the Google pattern on how to interview people, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's good. We are bringing the same people to our companies because it's the person that just came out of college or something, someone that studied 1 year just to pass on interviews, And do you want to hire someone that is good to pass on interviews, or someone that can bring different vision, or that is good on solving problems,
Mm-hmm.
on thinking differently, And how can you access this if you just ask data structures, performance, language knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't try to investigate other areas of that candidate, you
Yeah.
know?
Like the
And
personal aspects.
for sure, and that someone can't really, you know, they don't have the privilege or opportunity to dedicate themselves and their lives to study algorithms and study languages, and be so good at some computer science topics, because
Yeah.
they have different lives, you have to respect that. And if you really want to follow the HR advices and bring different people, you have to stop doing this same hiring processes. So that's a topic that I'm really passionate about, because I think we are doing a really poor job, and we are bringing the same male persons to the same field, and we are saying that we are going to change, but we are not doing anything to change, because our hiring process is so frozen in the time. We are not
Yeah.
evolving our hiring process.
We're
So
expecting different results without actually changing the process.
yes, that's a good summary. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, it's totally fair that a person who hasn't like actually learned how to reverse a binary tree doesn't
Yeah.
make him a bad developer. I mean, how many times have we reversed a binary tree? Never,
Never.
right?
In my work day, I never had to do that. And I know, so some of those topics, they are important for
Yeah,
specific fields, on specific companies, on specific areas and departments of that company. Okay, if you need that, you can do that specific hiring process.
sure.
But if you are just doing like a web app for managing, I don't know, uh, burger shops,
Yeah, you don't need to
you
reverse a
don't
binary
need to
tree.
reverse a binary tree. You have to have someone that is passionate about burgers, and they love how to do, they love, like, they know a lot of burger web apps, and they know how to be like to build a good, like, UI for burger apps, and they know the performance bottlenecks of, like, burger shops, and let's try to innovate here. So for example, someone can bring, like, let's live stream
Yeah,
the cooks there doing burgers live, so the your user can see people doing your own hamburger and deliver it to your home. So let's do that. So that's
yeah.
much better than someone that knows how to explain to you all the different data structures that is in the world. So you know
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, that totally makes sense. Leo, where can our listeners connect with you online? From what I understand from your energy, I understand you're always willing to help other people. So I feel like if someone is listening to the episode and wants to reach out, where can they reach out to you online?
I think mostly through LinkedIn. I'm always taking a look at my LinkedIn profile, so we can share that. It's Leo Silva Lima at LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter, and I think we can share this on the description or
In the yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, I'll put it in the
Yeah,
description too. Yes.
and of course through email, and that's it. I think those are good ways to reach me. And please reach me. I love to connect. I'm still growing my network here in Canada as well,
Hmm.
and I'm always looking for opportunities to help and mentor. So feel free to reach me.
Great, great. Thank you a lot, Leo. It was an amazing conversation. I enjoyed every moment of it. It was really fun to get to know you, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your weekend to actually sitting with me for an hour.
So yeah, thank you so much for bringing this opportunity to me as well. I love the way you ask questions. I think you have, yeah, a great journalism talent as well, and it's the new media, podcasts. I think I love the conversation, and you did a really great job on making me feel comfortable to share my thoughts and share even my controversial topics with you. So yeah, congratulations on your
Thanks a
show.
lot.